Hello, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Smackdown. I'm Bryon, and I'm joined by possibly the Yeti himself, who's coming out of that crate. Mike, say hi, Mike.
Uh, yeah, don't you know, Brian, that anyone who comes out of a box is instantly over?
I mean, he may be Chris Jericho, but I don't think Chris Jericho is probably gonna.
Why would they return Chris Jericho coming out of a fucking box, man? Like, it's got to be some gimmick match thing. Like maybe it's like a cowbell or something. I don't know.
What do you
Like,
mean a cowbell?
It's so this is so '90s coded that it's not even funny. Like,
But who's in the crate? What's in the crate? That's what we got for WrestleMania now. Who's in the crate? What's in the crate, bro? You know what? It could be the Kool-Aid Man. Alright, the Kool-Aid Man can show up and be the new sponsor for the WWE. They could put their logo on the ring again. You know? It could be the mascot for Dude Wipes. I heard they're the new sponsor for WWE. And Dominic Mysterio is going to be wearing their logo on his ass. Probably. Could be a lot of possibilities. I don't know, man. I'm thinking that this is just a 2K game kind of deal. It's probably going to be a statue of Triple H, so Triple H can whack himself off in the statue of himself.
you are honestly
For all I
right. It's
know.
probably some statue, yeah, or something.
Yeah. I remember I saw one comment at the video that was kind of funny. I forgot now, but I'm trying to remember what it was about. No. What if Glacier comes back, bro? Glacier comes out of the box. It's WCW all over again, baby.
I think he has his. I don't even know what he's doing nowadays. So, but
That's true.
I would not be. I would not be upset if Glacier came back.
Nice. We have a Glacier fan in our midst, which is great. But anyway, speaking of Glacier, who is blue? Dabba-dee dabba-die. It's time for Smackdown. It's time to predict and book the next episode of Smackdown as we head into the Elimination Chamber. And if you don't know what we do on this show in terms of predictions, well, we just book the next episode of Smackdown from our perspective, from beginning to end. We do them according to these rules. And then we will tell you what we think is going to happen from beginning to end on the show. And after that, we will watch the next episode of SmackDown as it airs. And we will then score our predictions and bookings based on this scoring system. And then we come back here on the next episode of this show, and then we tell you what we got. Scores! I got 10 points. And I think that is because of just most of the appearances on the show. I got the MFT, which is the majority of the points. Carmelo, Shinsuke, the Wyatt Six, also again the majority of the points. Matt Cardona and Drew appearing on the show. I also have Alexa Bliss and Cody winning their respective matches. So yeah, pretty good if I do say so myself. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, a lot of stuff was booked last week, so I didn't get many points. I really only got an appearance from the Wyatt Six, and I got the 2 Elimination Chamber qualifying matches correct.
Wow.
And the championship. I actually got all the booked. I got all the booked matches correct except for the tag team titles. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, you also forgot to book the 10-man tag between the MFT and Shinsuke, freaking Matt Cardona, Apollo Crews, and 2 other faces for some reason.
I watched this happen live. I stepped away for like a minute, and then I stepped back and I saw there was like 5 dudes outside the ring in a tag team match, and I was like, I think I texted you that this was the most WCW match I've seen in my time watching SmackDown. Like, what the hell was that, bro?
Hell yeah.
Like when Apollo Crews comes out, you know you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Not that he's not good, it's just they never
No.
seem to use him for anything other than being a jobber.
That's true. Yeah. Well, we'll see if they continue to use him, and we'll see if anything else happens, I guess, based on what we booked. As we head into what is announced, I got a couple things here. Obafemi versus Kit Wilson. Carmelo Hayes taking on Damon Priest and Trick Williams in a triple threat for the men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. I also have Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax versus Kiana James for the women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match in a triple threat. And I think that's it. So, without further ado, let's book this thing and get to my version of the show first as Cody Rhodes heads to the ring. He talks about the Chamber qualifying match he had last week. He says that Drew tried to screw him in the match, but he knows that he's not one, to be messed with. And as a result, he still won the match despite Drew McIntyre interfering in that match. He is then interrupted by Drew, who says that even if Cody won the Chamber, he will still lose to Daddy Drew because at WrestleMania he will prove to Cody who the real father of his sons and daughters are, and that is Drew, because he's got the title, he will always have the title, and Cody will have nothing in the end. And Cody is then attacked by Jacob Fatu from out of nowhere, who grabs a mic. He urges Cody to face him again in a match for real this time. He is still angry about the Chamber outcome. The Chamber qualifying match outcome. And so, we might have a match between Cody and Jacob Fatu, maybe sometime, I don't know, in the weeks ahead, I suppose, as we head into Smackdown. WrestleMania. Wow. And, yeah, I think that after that, Drew smiles and walks to the back as Jacob stares at Drew McIntyre. And I still think that this will lead to a triple threat situation at Mania, where we have Cody Rhodes going up against Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu. Now, the winner of the Elimination Chamber has to be a SmackDown superstar because we have the Raw title on the line already. So we need the SmackDown person to be challenged by someone. And so I think that whoever wins the Chamber, it could be Cody, it could be Drew. Oh, sorry, not Drew. What am I saying? It could be Orton. It could be either one, but they will be probably inserted into this triple threat situation because of an angry Jacob Fatu. And I'm leaning more towards Cody Rhodes. I think Cody wins the men's Chamber. And we have Cody versus Drew with Jacob in the mix for that triple threat goodness. And I think that's what will happen at WrestleMania. So, there you go. Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Kiana James in a triple threat for the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. I will have Charlotte Flair win by pinfall after a distraction by Lash Legend is offset by the tag team partner of Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss. After the match, Charlotte, Alexa, Nia, and Lash brawl around the ring and into the backstage area with security trying to split them. Meanwhile, Giulia is attacked by Iyo Sky and Kiana James is attacked by Rhea Ripley. And I had this happen because of a backstage segment between Iyo Sky and Giulia, where Iyo Sky says that she wants to take Giulia's United States Championship. And so that's why I have that spot here. And I think Charlotte does not win the Chamber because of Alexa Bliss. Again, I will have the heel turn for Alexa Bliss kind of set up here. Or at least start the seeds for the split up of Alexa and Charlotte for an eventual split later in that year. Nick Aldis comes out after the attack on Giulia and Kiana James by Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley by saying that since Iyo is here and Rhea is also here to attack Giulia and Kiana James and Iyo wants that US Championship from Giulia, I say let's give her an opportunity taking the US Championship from Giulia, and that match starts now. And we go to that match. Iyo Sky against Giulia for the US Championship. Unfortunately, I will have Giulia win by pinfall. After the match, Iyo tries to shake her hand after the match. Even though I said after the match already. But we'll continue. Giulia, however, raises the title instead of shaking that hand. I think this will lead to a rematch later down the line. It could be at Mania as well. But I think Giulia is probably going to have to contend with Tiffany or Jordan in that Women's US Championship spot. And let's face it, I think Giulia needs some defenses of that title since winning it back. And I don't think she has defended that title as much as before. So, pretty great, if I do say so myself. We'll move on to Obafemi taking on Kit Wilson. And I'm going to have no, I'm kidding. Obafemi win by pinfall. After the match, Kit Wilson, enraged by the toxicity of Obafemi, walks backstage while Matt Cardona and Apollo Crews laugh at him. And this all happens backstage. Kit Wilson challenges Matt Cardona to a match next week because, he's laughing at him. And laughing at someone is toxic. And Matt Cardona accepts the challenge to prove Kit Wilson wrong. I think that with that match, Matt would go on to win it because of 50-50 booking. And I think that Kit, this will probably happen, but I'm thinking Kit is probably going to have a WrestleMania comedy spot, preferably with Joe Hendry, for that good old meme wrestler goodness. But yeah, I think Kit Wilson is probably going to have a comedy spot at WrestleMania. It would be a shame if he didn't. And yeah, that's what I have for that. Moving on, MFT have a promo. Solo talks about what happened on that 10-man tag team match last week. He says that the Wyatt Six coming back won't do anything because the MFT still got the lantern. And if the Wyatt Six want to come and get it, they better give it their all. Lights then go dark, and the Wyatt Six appear along the ring ropes. They then ambush the MFT when the lights come on, and a brawl happens. The MFT seem to be winning when Apollo Crews and Matt Cardona come out to the rescue, and Nick Aldis comes out to announce a tag team match between the MFT and Apollo Crews and Matt Cardona later in the show. Again, this is just to give some new tag teams some spotlight. And again, just to spotlight the tag team division there. And I don't think they're using this whole Gargano situation with Fraxium and these other tag teams is kind of getting stale. So I think highlighting some new teams would be the best idea here to sort of highlight the tag team division on SmackDown. Because let's be honest, it's a bit deeper than Raw. So there you go. Alba Fire takes on Tiffany Stratton. This because of a backstage segment last week where Alba Fire demands that Tiffany Stratton kind of pays for what she has done to good old Chelsea Green. And Tiffany says, nope, why don't you just ask? Or whatever she said, I guess. And that's how we have this match. And I will have Tiffany Stratton win by pinfall. After the match, she is attacked by Chelsea Green. She gets up from a wheelchair to beat her up, and then goes back to the wheelchair to be wheeled out backstage by Alba Fire. And I think this is kind of a holdover feud for Tiffany Stratton. She may win the Women's Chamber, but I think that, this is just a holdover for her. This is just to build up her sort of status going into the Chamber. And it would be pretty nice to get that win going in, to get that momentum started. So there you go. Apollo Crews and Matt Cardona takes on Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. And I will have Apollo Crews and Matt Cardona win by pinfall due to a distraction from Shinsuke on Tama Tonga. After the match, Tama and the MFT go after Shinsuke, only to be confronted by the Wyatt Six, who beat them up and are just dominating They just dominate over the MFT and the White Six. Kind of just, they're just like, yo, we won. We want our lantern back. We're gonna have it back. And I think this will lead to a tag team championship match at WrestleMania, where the White Six go over. They kind of get their lantern back. They get their titles back. And then Apollo and Matt Cardona, they can probably go on to some more tag team feuds, I guess. I don't know. Probably go up against Fraxium, go up against the Motor City Machine Guns or something. But yeah, I think this is just a thing to tide them over. And again, this is just to highlight some new tag teams joining the tag team division. So it's pretty cool. Moving on to this here, which is the main event. Carmelo Hayes versus Damian Priest versus Trick Williams in a triple threat for the Elimination Chamber qualifier. And I will have Trick Williams win by pinfall because I think they are pushing Trick after a distraction attempt from The Miz on Carmelo and Rey Fenix on Trick. I think that these two feuds are still ongoing on SmackDown, so just want to build them up here. And I think Trick Williams is not set with any feuds right now, ongoing feuds, so I think he has a chance to win here. Also, I think that Trick Williams is getting pushed lately, so I think that the same way they're doing with Javon Evans, they're probably doing it with Trick just to put some new blood on the men's chamber. And I think that Trick and Javon Evans getting some really good spots in the men's chamber match could be pretty cool. So there you go. I will have nothing happen as the show goes off the air. Just Trick Williams celebrating his win, and that's it. That's the show. Any questions?
So, if you so what do you think that this Wyatt Six MFT's feud is going to end at Elimination Chamber, or are they taking this to Mania?
I think Mania.
Okay.
For some reason, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I think
it's been
yeah.
pretty weak. Hasn't been a whole lot of heat between these two teams.
Yeah, I really wish that the White Six would move on to something else or get moved to Raw, just to spice up whatever is going on over there. But I do think that they're heading towards a WrestleMania finale, and I'm pretty sure that it's probably going to be a feud ender at that point. And I think, as I said earlier, the Wyatt Six are going to get their lantern back and their titles. And I don't know, could be the MFTs going to Raw then, I guess. I don't know. But I think that this feud between the Wyatt Six and the MFT is going to end at WrestleMania. And depending on how many people care about that, it's probably going to be a no DQ match. We'll just say. It's probably going to be like a tornado tag, as you said earlier in these episodes. Or it could be a TLC match. Something. I don't know. Street fight. The old reliable street fight. But I think it is leaning more towards Mania because, let's face it, we also gotta flesh out these 2-night cards, and the White Six versus the MFT for the tag team championships. I mean, that's definitely going to be a spot on that card. I think so. All right,
Sick.
Any other questions before we move on to your card?
No, I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's move on to your card then. Starting off with,
we have Cody Rhodes coming out for a promo, talking and putting himself over for the Elimination Chamber. He is then attacked by Jacob Fatu, he's attacked by Drew McIntyre, who was then attacked by one Jacob Fatu. A brawl starts in the ring. Sammy tries to come out and help break it up. And this is just continuing the feud that happened at the end of last week when all four of these guys got into it in the main event. So,
okay. Are you still agreeing with the fact that this is probably going to be a fatal 4-way? between Cody, Drew, Jacob, and Sammy, or could be a triple threat.
No, I think Jacob is kind of awkward at this point. I think that they are positioning Sammy to get in a program with Jacob as a secondary feud while Cody goes off and has a program with Drew for the title at Mania.
Okay, so two
I
separate
think that's to
programs.
prepare
Yeah.
I think
All
that's
right.
to prepare Sammy for an eventual title push next
Yeah.
year in Saudi Arabia, Brian.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. He's getting that Saudi blood money. I can tell you that, and more. All right. Well, we'll move on from that then too.
Obafemi versus Kit Wilson. This is a booked match. If you think Kit Wilson is winning this match, I don't know why. I'm fairly certain that Oba is winning this match. Kit Wilson has to be probably the most over jobber I've ever seen. Because
he's the new
super
Disco
over.
Inferno, bro.
He really is the new Disco Inferno at this point. With the entrance music and everything. Oba wins this one in a squash match pretty handedly, and I don't know where to do with him next. So we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe in a program with Damian Priest, another big guy.
Oh, you're talking about Oba?
Yeah.
What about Kit? What about Kit? Where do you see him going?
Honestly, maybe into a program again with Matt Cardona. I think he's had a couple of fights with Matt Cardona, so I don't know. Maybe Carmelo Hayes. Trick Williams. I don't know. He's enhancement talent, Brian, so he needs to enhance someone.
Yeah. It could be you know who hasn't been on TV lately? Freaking Royce Keys, bro. He just arrived at the Royal Rumble, and ever since then, man, they just stopped showing him. And it's just like, why? Why, man?
I think I have to check Cage Match, but I think he did show up at a Smackdown show, but he wasn't there. He wasn't on TV, I mean.
Yeah, he was on the dark match.
He might be wrestling. Yeah, he might be wrestling dark matches. Let me check, actually. Yeah. Let's look at Cage Match, baby.
The reliable source for all your pro wrestling needs.
Let's see. Royce Keys. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. What has he had? He has had one match so far. Yes, it was on the last Smackdown show where he beat Nathan Frazier in a dark match.
Frazier?
He's gonna be on the dark.
Okay.
He's gonna be on the dark match circuit probably for a little bit. Until he gets enough. Until he gets used to the roster, and then he'll be back in the program.
Right. Okay. Wow. So what you got for Fraxim now? Jobbing out to Royce Keys? Interesting. Okay. We'll move on then from that too.
We have a Tiffany Stratton promo. So Tiffany comes out similar to last week and puts herself over for Elimination Chamber. And yeah, this is going to bleed into the next match, which features her, where she takes on Alba Fire. This was a confrontation that happened backstage last week, where Chelsea was in a wheelchair. I think she broke her ankle or something like that, which wouldn't necessarily. I think they made a whole thing about it. Yeah, I think she broke her ankle or something, which wouldn't necessitate.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Being in a wheelchair.
That's right. Yeah.
But anyway, they had a confrontation backstage about it. So And by confrontation, I mean, I think Tiffany said like one thing about it, and yeah. Anyway, so I think Tiffany wins this one via disqualification after Jade Cargill comes out and attacks her.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yes.
So I don't know what they're doing with Chelsea Green. I guess, is this going to be the direction for Chelsea Green going into WrestleMania, just going after Tiffany, or do you think that Tiffany is probably going to win the chain? Well, again, you can't really predict, as you said, the women's chamber match, but where do you see Tiffany's, I guess, direction?
I kind of can now because we already have like 2 out of 4 out of 6 of the people.
Okay.
And the only women left are Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, Kiana James, and then I think Raquel, Iyo, and Kairi Sane.
Great.
So out of this group, I think because a heel won the Rumble, I think a face has to win the Chamber, and I think that is probably going to be Rhea Ripley.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
You're leading on Rhea. All right.
Yep.
That's not a bad pick, though. Not a bad pick. Honestly, I would pick Tiffany, but Rhea's not a bad pick either. I guess, I don't know, where do you go with Chelsea Green? I guess, do you just have her feud with just random women and just go up to, I don't know, Jordan Grace or something? Like, where do you see Chelsea Green?
She is a premium jobber, Brian. She's sort of like, I actually saw this in a comment on a YouTube video the other day, or not a comment, actually, I think it was in a YouTube video, where they were talking about, of course it was WCW again, and they were talking about Jeff Jarrett, and someone was like, Jeff Jarrett really shouldn't have been the champion. He should have been like the guy that you beat before you go fight the champion, like the second to last boss. And I'm like, that really says that really describes a lot of people on the current roster, like Chelsea Green kind of, but she's more of a lower level, like an LA Knight, we call him a premium jobber. That's what I mean by a premium jobber, is someone who is an enhancement talent, but at a higher level to make someone into a main eventer, right?
Right.
Because like a good example is right now is like Bronson Reed, right? If like Bronson Reed is booked as a main eventer, right? He's a big guy, and if you beat Bronson Reed, then you're kind of pushed up the card a little bit because you beat a big name. So I think Chelsea is in that tier of being like a mid-card enhancement talent, where if you beat Chelsea Green, then you are in the US title like scene, essentially.
Yeah.
So
you just reminded me that we didn't do a Golden Jobber of the Month for January.
Fuck. All right. Golden Jobber of the Month. Let me look back at my things for January.
Impromptu.
Impromptu.
Yeah, this won't have as much of a production value as normally, but
I think you have to go with Matt Cardona, man. Like Matt Cardona came in,
okay,
really just because Chelsea Green had a run, and he has been nothing but a fucking jobber the entire time he has been on the roster. I mean, he lost to Obafemi, he lost to Kit Wilson, I think once.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he lost to fucking Kit Wilson. So he's definitely a golden jobber, man. I mean, I don't think there's anyone else who's a golden jobber in the sense that they are, getting blue balled like LA Knight was last year. Yet.
Yeah. No, he has not yet.
But yeah, I really, just because of the amount of jobbing that Matt Cardona has done since he got into the roster, which, if he's being paid a handsome sum of money and they told him, hey, listen, buddy, you're going to be a jobber, fine, go get your bag.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, who would I pick? Oh god, for January? I guess I could pick Freaking, oh god, what's his name? I'm blanking out. Quick, Mike, give me another one. Give me another one. Just pick for me. I don't want to do Matt Cardona.
Who else can I pick here? I can probably put Alpha Academy. They had a push that ended up in them getting absolutely squashed by the Usos.
I don't think that's. No, I wouldn't say that. No.
The War Raiders for getting fucking squashed by Obafemi 2-on-1.
I mean, the War Raiders hadn't appeared.
Styles, totally forgot about AJ Styles.
I forgot about AJ.
In a fucking career match in Saudi Arabia. This dude's last match was in Saudi. You have to realize that I think AJ Styles' retirement tour was happening all last year when he faced like John Cena. And then he faced Cody Rhodes. That was his retirement tour, and then he lost to fucking Gunther in Saudi Arabia, man.
Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'll pick AJ. I'll just pick AJ. Yeah, yeah, he had a great run, but unfortunately, since the Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia and he sort of entered the WWE as a participant in the Royal Rumble match, and now he has to retire in that sort of same event. Not to mention the fact that I think Shinsuke might have spoiled the results of the match before the Royal Rumble by saying like, I sent a text message to AJ asking if he's gonna retire at the Royal Rumble, and he said yes, and he quickly just deleted that post. I think AJ kind of deserved better than just retiring in Saudi. Maybe even I think Mania is probably the better place for him to retire, honestly. But hey, AJ chooses what he wants to do, so if that's what he wants to do, then fine. I just feel like, Saudi Arabia is not the best place to sort of end things. But, that's probably kind of out of AJ's control, I should say. So, there you go. There's your freaking golden jobbers for January. Anyway, we'll move on. I don't know if we'll have some sort of production value over that. I don't think so. But anyway, we'll move on from that too.
The Elimination Chamber qualifier, Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, and Damian Priest. I think Trick Williams wins via pinfall after The Miz and Aleister Black interfere. Are you saying that we're going back to Aleister Black versus Damian Priest? I don't know. I hope not.
I hope not.
But I don't know what else. I don't know what else for him to do at this point. So I think Trick wins. I think they're pushing him pretty hard up the card, and he ends up in Elimination Chamber.
You know what? Damian Priest versus Carmelo Hayes for the US Championship? That could be decent. Not gonna lie. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe move him to Raw? I guess. I don't know. Finn Balor probably looking for another face, so...
They seriously need to, it's going to happen probably at Elimination Chamber, but they really need to get this belt off of Dom. He hasn't done a whole lot with it since he got it back. So I think giving it to Penta is a great idea, and it looks like they're going to go that direction.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, that'll be fine. I said again, Carmelo Hayes is running out of opponents for the US Championship, so... I think Damian Priest for the US Championship against Carmelo Hayes could be a pretty good match. Also, pretty decent opponent, so... Anyway. We'll move on from that then to...
Nia Jax and Lash Legend cut a promo. They had a unsuccessful attempt that ended in... I don't even know what. Like, was it a DQ or a count-out or something?
The botch ladies.
Last week. So I'm going to say they're going to ask for another shot at the titles because they didn't technically lose last time. So that will probably happen at maybe Elimination Chamber, maybe WrestleMania, maybe the go home show to WrestleMania. Who knows? But anyway, this leads into the next match, which is an Elimination Chamber. Yeah, Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Nia, Kiana James, who, thank you for coming, Kiana James, and taking the pin, and Charlotte Flair.
Yep.
So, I think Nia wins this one. I think that having, I don't think they're going to have a one of the women's tag teams in the chamber fully. So I think that Nia wins this one because of an assistance from Lash Legend. So Lash Legend interferes. If you're asking where Alexa Bliss is, I don't know. So probably not here or something. Maybe she's able to beat Alexa Bliss, and that's how Nia gets the win. Anyway, I'm thinking Nia wins this one.
Wow.
Then Tiffany comes out to save Charlotte from post-match beatdown, and that starts a small feud between Tiffany and Lash, which was which was teased last week when they had a confrontation during Tiffany's promo.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I guess, where do you go with Charlotte from here? She's in the tag team with Alexa Bliss. Do you think that their separation is going to happen this year? Do you think that there could be more, I guess, separation signs expected out of Charlotte and Alexa?
Yes, I think we're going to start to see these tag teams break up soon, because here's the thing with having singles main event stars being tag team partners is it makes sense when the main event singles scene is hot to the point where you can't insert anyone else, right? When you had Steve Austin and Triple H, as tag team partners, right? I believe you had who was in the main event scene then? Was it Kurt Angle?
Yeah,
I think
Stone Cold.
And no, you had Stone Cold and Triple H and the tag team scene.
Right.
With tag team belts, yeah. It makes sense when the singles main event scene is very hot to where you can have. You need your singles stars to do something, so you put them in a tag team to keep them busy and draw dimes, as kids say, because people come out to watch them, and if you're running a program with Jade Cargill, what are you gonna do with all your your main event stars? So
right.
That makes sense. And I think right now the women's singles main event scene is very mid.
Yeah.
As you'd say. Not a whole lot's been going on, and I think it needs some juice, some spice, and you need to take this talent that's sitting in the tag team scene and push them back into the main event scene. And I think that's going to happen at WrestleMania. I think Nia and Lash are a good tag team together. I think Nia works well with a tag team partner, even though she can be a little botchy. I think it's better for her to be in a tag team.
Yeah.
And I think they hold on to the belts for a while, and I think Rhea and Iyo go back into main event scene. And then maybe Charlotte and Alexa go back into the main event scene. I can probably actually see one of those tag teams sticking around for a little bit longer, but not both of them. I don't think they keep all four of those tied up.
Okay. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think there needs to be more singles people, for sure. And it's not just that. I mean, I think over on Raw, at least you have AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. Those two are kind of big names as singles stars over there on Raw land. But over on SmackDown land, you have Beefhead Meechin. What? Really? And
come on,
at least they have Jordan.
Brian, hit me, Brian. Brian, hit me. Hit me, Brian. Come on.
What? Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! The way that she was. Yeah, I said this to you when we were watching this, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't watched AJ Lee at all before this. AJ Lee sounds like your HR manager when she cuts promos. I don't know why I said this,
Yeah.
but I just got that vibe from her. She has this like HR manager vibe to her, and how she was yelling at Becky to hit her, and then Becky was just standing there like like she was a kid that has to go to the bathroom and just like stammering her feet and like waving her arms, and I'm like, what the fucking hit her? What are you doing? You're a heel. You can do this shit, man.
Yeah.
What the? Yeah, it's not looking great. It was not off to a great start.
It was not.
So
yeah. No. Let's just say that segment was not great, and I don't know. I don't think any amount after that of just trying to sell the match to people is going to work at that point. Maybe I guess an intense sort of contract signing between the two, but like I think the leaning into the comedic elements need to stop. Like this is a mid-card championship on Raw for the women, and you are treating it like a joke, which I guess it is a joke to some people, but it's still a title. It is still something that two people are fighting for, and when the feud is not about the title itself, but rather just two people, I guess, trying to comedically make jokes at each other's expense, I guess, that's when it starts to lose itself as a captivating feud, and it just leans into, well, we're just gonna have a bunch of people just, make fun jokes and laugh and all that stuff, and it's just like, no. Humor is subjective. It's not gonna work for everyone, and it's just, again, it downplays the importance of the feud itself. So anyway, we'll touch on it on Raw, I guess, and all that stuff. But I guess we'll move on then to the main event for SmackDown. Your version, Mike, which is
a WWE Championship match between Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. So this is because last week, before the main event Elimination Chamber qualifying match, Drew actually put over Sami, saying that he's paid his dues and Sami deserves a shot. And Drew actually tried to help Sami win the title by taking out both Cody and Jacob. But then Sami kicked Drew anyway, so I think that they're going to give Sami a title shot here as sort of like a trial to see how the crowd feels about him being a contender. I think that Sami wins this one via DQ, so Drew still has the belt after Jacob Fatu comes in and attacks Drew McIntyre. Cody comes down to try and attack Jacob Fatu, and that's how this show ends.
wow. Okay. So I think I already laid out the question earlier, but all right. So you think that Sami moving forward is going to feud with Jacob, and that's how we get into this, I guess, Sami versus Jacob feud with maybe Jacob going over, or again, is this you sort of confirming the whole Fatal 4-Way situation for the title? Because there could be a lot of things that could go from this finish, so
Again, I think that the plan for them is to do Cody versus Drew. I think Cody wins by turning heel, and I think they run a parallel program with Sami and Jacob.
oh, right.
I don't think they run into a triple threat.
Okay. And you're going to have Sami go over here in the feud against Jacob, or is it the other way?
Yes, I'm going to have Sami go over because I think the plan is to build him to WrestleMania next year.
Okay.
Or possibly SummerSlam.
All right. Sure. Do you think that Cody turning heel kind of, I don't know. Do you think that will impact Sammy in a way? Just from, Cody probably turning heel at WrestleMania and, maybe portraying himself as one of the bigger bad guys after Mania? Do you think that'll impact Sammy's momentum or, I guess, his feud with Jacob Fatu if it does happen?
No, I mean, if and when Cody does turn heel at WrestleMania, I think his first opponent will probably be one of the white meat baby faces, enhancement talent guys like an LA Knight, probably going after him first. And I still think the plan is to give Sammy his championship in Saudi Arabia next year. So I think putting him over Jacob Fatu makes sense. I don't know what they do with Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu might become another premium jobber at this point.
Jacob Fatu? I mean, he's had one of his matches ended in a DQ, and then he did lose recently to Cody. I don't know. It could be a golden jobber. And that would be not that great for Jacob, because I think that they're also trying to make Jacob one of the bigger stars on the show. But yeah, I think a separate feud between Sammy and Jacob and Cody and Drew might not be a bad idea. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. But yeah, that's what we got for our predictions and bookings for the next episode of Smackdown as we head into the Elimination Chamber. As I said earlier, we are going to watch the next episode of Smackdown as it airs. We are going to score our predictions and bookings that we told you guys here. And we will come back here on the next episode of this show to tell you what we got and book all over again. So, until then, thank you for ordering a blue cheese pizza, called probably next week on Smackdown from Grapperinos. And remember, if you are down for some fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, Grapperinos!